Hey, how you doing? So welcome back to the channel. We are going to get straight into your reading, Aries. This is going to be an Aries reading. So I hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you guys are looking forward to your week ahead. Don't forget to check out your star signs in your birth chart just to make sure everything resonates in a good way, or in the way that you need to clarify information. And yeah, we'll get into this reading for you all. Yeah, let's get into this reading, shall we? So I can see cards are just jumping already. It doesn't say much other than you feeling like you've got good news though. So you've got to warn yourself that you've got good news. Either way, warn yourself you've got too much good news coming in. Oh, okay. Too much good news coming in, Aries. It doesn't say that it's bad. Ideally, it does say that you've got gifts to give yourself from hell to the no. It says, I'm not telling you who you are, but it does say, I will warn myself that I've got gifts to give you anyway. Okay, so someone's got to give you some type of gifts. Okay, they've got to warn themselves that they've got to give you gifts, or you could be giving them gifts. Okay. It does say that you begin to brew, or even see that you blame no one, but you have best friend energy inside your head and you give yourself good news anyway. So you giving yourself some type of good news anyway. You may have been brewing about something, but you try to warn yourself, well, I got good news. I'm giving myself this good news. Okay, because I told you I would shock you. I told you I would meet you in your mind to tell you off about what it is that you thought that you could give me, and I told you I will bruise your mental health with mine. Okay, so that's what you've told someone. Well, you've shown them this, and it does say that you witness things in your mind to have clarity that it's going to work out just fine. As long as she understands, you don't need to speak about things in your mind. You can pretend that you speak to her about it in her mind, or let her know that she's got karma with you. Okay, and it does say her, but it also is he if you feel like you've got good news with a man that's telling you that he's got bad news at this time, because he doesn't know how to support you with things that you want and may not give you everything. So he's going to want himself to walk away or trial and error the situation to pick on you, and maybe see that he's got better news to give you in the next week or two. Okay. All right. So let's see what else is going on. So it doesn't say that you've got anything else to give anyone with the trial and error negative mindset of theirs, and even a thug type of mentality of a person that doesn't want to come out of their mind, but may even be there for you if you feel like you have good news. At times you don't know if you're coming or going, or feel like you've got these attributes. Maybe even seeing if you need to leave some out, or maybe even time yourself to let go of one or two things that you said you will not become. And negative enemy energy is something you may want to let go of, or at this time feel like you need to allow things to behave in a way that you get good news, or else it's going to be diamonding in your mind that you told yourself you would have bad news and then it happened. Maybe even see that it's not going to be easy, but it will cause you concern to be ill or unwell, or maybe even see that you have problems overall with your mind about things. So tidy up your head and give yourself good news, Aries. I'm also hearing for Aquarius as well, for some of you guys that are dealing with one. It says, I know I wouldn't want to drink with you or even sleep with you, but I need to know, would you want to do that with me in the next week or two? Because I know that I'm ready to speak about this. So someone wants to speak about these things with you. Maybe, drink with you and sleep with you and wants to know about these things. Wow. Maybe it could be you as well, some of you guys. If not, it could be someone else. It says that someone doesn't want to answer the phone or your calls until they answer the question, and maybe even challenging the self of theirs to say, I've got to do it in a way that it's going to be dignified in her mind, or not, because I don't feel like I need to dignify her mind. Someone wants to downgrade you and make you feel less than, or maybe this is you towards someone else. It does say someone here feels like they could phone you or you could phone them, but you're not going to speak about the situation until you understand who they are. They realize they're not going to pick on you, but they could downgrade you or make you feel worse than, At times, they may even see that they're not going to have good news with you. So they warn themselves not to speak, but they've got problems with you overall. Okay, could be dealing with a water sign. If not, it could be another fire sign. I'm also seeing Virgo here, or an earth sign, or a Gemini air sign. Yeah, it could be anyone. Or another Aries. Doesn't say that you've got bad news though, and you realize you've got enemy energy to give someone. So it's not easy to give yourself great news, as you trembled in your mind at things that you didn't want to have to hold in your brain for too long, as someone keeps picking on you and bothering you and telling you you will not become anything great. In my mind, as I told you you should, and don't know how to do it. It says you know you don't want to pick on this person, but the mean mind game of yours or theirs is not going to be helpful to you. Ooh. Doesn't say why, other than this. You are laughing at them and they may be laughing at you. All this time they may laugh at you and you may laugh at them. At this time you may not want to see them, as a phone call may come in to solve the problem and see if you want to go out or have some fun. But they realize they're laughing at you and you're laughing at them. Okay? And this is where it goes wrong. It says some of you need to let go of the past, or even change your number now, or maybe even see that you've got good karma with your bills or your building structures or things that you want to transform, as suddenly you'll see a great brave mind game come to play you. And it doesn't say bad news, absolutely good news, until you change your mindedness, i.e. your scarceness or your scaredness. It says people keep bothering you and challenge you after 2 weeks and a month, as they will challenge you again to pick up your phone and talk about the problems you're having again with a personal problem in your mind. Maybe even a physical problem, if this person can show you that they're not going to be a bully or a predator towards you, or even harass your mind. Or maybe you're physical, because absolutely nothing in the brains of others could help you say it's going to be in your reality. And now when they pick on you, they're going to pick on your mind, but it's got to be picked on in their mind. So it's not going to be easy to pick on you without picking on them, because they know they're in trouble with you, and mainly because you will target them to have bad news. Okay. You're going to target them to have bad news if they try to pick on you. Okay. And some of you guys, someone's going to be yeah, this is how you feel like solving things anyway, through negative enemy energy of theirs giving them bad news. You won't want to give yourself any problems understanding that you've got good news, because you will have it. You just have to wait and see, is it going to work out for you? Okay. But you know what? It says everyone's going to try and target you anyway, and then no one's going to try and target you in a good way. So you have to have good news and warn yourself. If you have blessed energy to give yourself, gravitate towards it and give it to yourself, because someone here is not going to allow you to see that you have good news for yourself. Okay? Maybe because they challenge you or try to talk about you in negative ways, or want to manipulate things in your mind in a way that is like, well, do you think you've got great news? You ain't, that kind of way. So just kind of watch out for the way they use certain language or use certain ways of riddling information, or how they talk about you or talk to you. So see what else is going on, Aries. No one says they have time to see if you've got good news overall with problem solving, and then they do know why. It says people keep picking on me. I know this. I need to satisfy myself with bad news. It doesn't say that you should give yourself complete bad news though, because the warning signs are there for a man to stop picking on you and leave you alone, and you'll realize this as you move on from the negative mental health spirit of the mind that you thought was there. And it does say the bad man is going to stop this, because I told myself I've got to give myself better news. So you're going to tell yourself better news after you find a way to stop this, because you thought it was, because a particular mindset, or maybe like a particular star sign was, had those type of issues, but it's the person. Do you see what I'm saying? So It does say that you've clarified nothing in regards to your mind about it other than you thought it could have been. But the truth is, you could be letting yourself go to see if you can get help, and maybe certainly want to know who's going to challenge this or make this person feel like they're getting trauma from me giving myself good news and letting them have bad news. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. It doesn't say bad news is coming, but warning signs are there for someone to say they are sorry. They have to let you mind your manners and maybe give you time to look into a new fell off the face of the earth. Woman says she knows that she can't come back because this person is watching everything. Mean mind games are being played with this woman, is what someone says. And I know I have to take care of her. She's not going to go down that easy. I have to make sure she's not harmed. If I feel she's harmed, I'm going to harm myself. I warned them not to be mean to Miss I know who she is. And this could be you. As female knows that she's not allowed to pick on you, as this man also knows he can't pick on you too, because you're very much so warning him that mental health is with them in their work environment. And it's not good to see that you have good news in your mind about it, but at the same time, you have. Okay? So these people feel like, you know, they don't want you to see their hand if it's being negative, evil, deceptive, rude, disrespectful towards you and others possibly, or just as a team of people that are not, are supposed to show better ways towards people. But you are basically showing them, look, I'm being treated like this through many of you. You all seem to want to treat me unfairly. And, the person that he may have put in place to deal with you dealt with you the same as someone else in that work environment, and he's seeing that he's not going to allow certain situations to go too far with certain people that are put in place to harm you. That makes sense. And it does say he knows that he's going to try again, but only if he continues to bruise himself, because he has to hear that he's bruising himself. And only when he knows that you've said something again, he's going to clarify that he's got to harm himself again, because he's got to warn himself to stop speaking about it with you and let you speak about this with a demon in your mind, or maybe a judge, or maybe something you said you're going to take action with. Because this man says he can't understand you. He's not going to clarify everything, but he warns you, if you keep playing with me, I'm going to play with you, and I'm going to use many to harm you. And he does this secretly, but he realized he's got to try you in a way that that your mind is telling you it's happening. Like, I'm picking on you, but I'm only showing you through people that come in and target you and let you know that they're my friends, they're my team, they're my partners, they're my building, they're my spouse, they're people that I work with, or they're people that I have to be around or team up with. It does say that he knows that he's going down, and he realized he's going down. He has to go down because he's not having a good say in his mind about things that you've said. You've mentioned things that do sound like he's actually doing what he says he doesn't want to show you. So therefore, if it does say that things that are being continued in a way that is not very good, it does say you can have this, because it's very true that you're not being treated fairly. Yeah? So you are not being treated fairly, and they acknowledge that as well in the background. They just don't want you to know in reality. It does say that you can't have good news until they're ready to show you. However, it does say that you're going to get blamed if you don't show them, because they do need to know, and they want to know why they're not having good news. And they realize even if you do show them, then you're going to have good news and then not have good news, because they're going to give you something to trial and error you and park you in your head about it. It says someone was going to call you until them, saying that it's not going to be worth calling her or talking to her. Mean warring with you is trying to come through. It doesn't say who, but it says the man keeps trying to war with you and he's trying to come through. So someone keeps trying to war with you and they're trying to come through. Okay. Yeah. What else is going on, Aries? Ooh. It doesn't say anything but you now needing to move forward and live your life. Ideally, even if you want to speak about it, you need to go off and live your life. It does say someone doesn't want to see you in a good way, so they may tell you to go and do something and harm yourself. But you could be in a bad mood, and you could be warning yourself not to speak about things in your mind about other things that could come up in the mindset of someone that's hiding their hand. Gemini energy is there, witchcraft is there, burdensome people are there, individual is there, certainly wants to know you are harmed and doesn't know how to trouble his mind about things he said that he could see in himself with you or with her. Female woman that he calls a wife, or maybe even someone he says he sees, he stays with them. He's very dirty and disgusting. His mental health is sore and proud at the same time. He harms his head, then he harms it with yours, then he tries to harm it again. He says, I see that I don't get anywhere with you. I'm always going to target you and I'm going to hurt you. I realize that and I don't know how to stop, but I'm going to do it again. And even if I can't get my way, I'm going to trouble you again. I realize I've got to keep doing it. And I don't like it, but I do it. And my friend told me off not to speak to you. So I'm not going to speak to you. But I realize I've got to talk about it. And then when I realize I'm talking about it to you again, because I can't stand the fact that you always want to leave me behind, I've got to, how can you stop, is what the other person is saying. Another female or a female that is getting involved after the friend told him to stop picking on her because there is something there that he's seen that he could get in trouble with, and he's going to be burdened by this in the next week or two. But it does say that he's in a bad mood, and he's warning himself that now he's got karma with this because people are dealing with her in a bad way. But then I realized I'm in a worse way after I taught myself something I saw and never should have saw it in my mind. And I realized I've got karma now, and I'm going to get her back if I ever try to get myself out of this. But I warned myself I could never come to her again because I'm now in a bad situation with police, and with judgment or calling me in my head is bad news. Now I have to figure out who it is that is bothering me. And I realize I can't get out of this. It's very hard because I know that I am going down. People are telling me, do you know that you're going down? Bloody hell, there could be good news for someone that didn't want any more problems. And mainly because they were getting juju in their head, torment, rich problems in their brain, and couldn't cope with any more. Now it is going to harm the mind that set it upon this person that was giving good news to a friend about giving her this, but bad news to them now because they've got caution. They've been warned with bad news and they've been getting their dreams coming up in their mind about how they wanted to know they could have bad news and still didn't like the fact that it was going to come, but realize it's going to come when it comes. Ideally, karma. They said they didn't mind getting the karma, but now that it's here, they can't handle it. So whether you like it or not, it's not going to help you, is what you told me. I said, I see that I'm not going to get this karma that you said you were going to give me. And I told myself I'm not going to get it. How dare I get it, is what the man is saying. Now he realizes he's not going to go under, but he wants to come to you and say sorry after he gets his karma. Then he realizes it's going to be harmful to a female that wants you to have bad news. Now this woman is going to certainly struggle and see herself in a blame. She's going to see herself in a blame or a problem. And it does say the problem is solved overnight, as she justifies bad news in her mind to get war with her head and never see good news, as this problem should never come out in a bad way. It says, I know that because I see myself target myself with very, very good news, and then said, I see that I stole or I steal her energy. I can't have bad news in my mind, but you will get it. And now this female understands the assignment. She's going to get very bad news because she caused harm to you or someone around you, and she realized death wishes are upon her, or someone telling her she's got to go down. Something that she's doing at home right now is giving her good news, but it's not going to give her good news all the time to see that she's got bad news. So even if she wants to see she's got good news, she's got to warn you, are you going to have good news? And wonder, do you get good news with the things that you get? Ideally, what is going to give you good news? Ideally, how do you solve your good news or sort out good news to give yourself? Maybe even children or family, or maybe even an affair could happen in the next week or two as she tries to move on past the problem with her brain telling her she's got to kill over if she doesn't get a good husband or wife mindset to have and hold with someone else's. Ideally, praying that she could be a better woman to someone because she's very bad mood and very bad to the man that wants to marry her or even is married to her, but he doesn't want to deal with her no more and sees that he's got to move out. And he does know this because he's getting bad news in the internet. And he also sees that he's got trial and error trying to communicate something, how he never thought that he'd be able to give himself good news, where he is now at this home of hers with this woman and can't understand where it's going. Doesn't know how to solve a problem with his head saying he can stay around her. He has to move on. And it doesn't say he's going to get good news when he does. He has to see that he's divorced or even married to someone else that's not going to have good news with him. He says he sees he's not going to try and error anybody's child or abuse them. And he realized he's been doing this for many years or even a year or two. He doesn't even know how to shame himself. So he's going to witness bad news come upon him and laugh at himself as he dies out of the mindset of a nice woman that he tried to harm. He says he knows he's got to stop picking on her. And he's wondering, can he stop picking on her right now? As he tries to challenge her and warns her to stop speaking or even smoking or drinking. And this is where it goes wrong for him. He knows that she always does what she wants because it's her life. But the truth is, he doesn't need to come to her and say anything. He's going to harm her again with his mind tonight. But he's got to do it with his brain telling him off. This man may not speak to you, but he likes words he says to himself. And he says, I can't come to you with brainwashing. I realize I'm not going to use you or your family too because I could harm your child. And it does say he's been trying to harm a teenage child around you or a friend's child around you. And it does say he keeps bullying you and a female and her children and other people's children and their children's children will get harmed, is what he says. He knows he's going to practice very bad mood spells on you later on and does know he's going to diamond in his mind about it, but keeps you there to see that he's going to keep blame in his mind. As he troubles his head today to say, I've got to call myself a homeowner. And I realize I've got to be this. But I realize I'm never going to be this woman's mind because I have to stay away from her head. She knows that I can't live here. I can't even stay here to say I'm going to be a homeowner or live in a council home. It does say this man doesn't even speak English. He's not good at it and he doesn't know where to go with his bad mood. He's laughed at and he's made fun at, and he does know that people are picking on him today and now and do not know how to stop. This omen is going to war his mind until he sees that struggles are going to come to him. Blaming himself is something he said he should do, as he sees that he's not going to get good news to move on past it, but he's also going to get very bad news to mind his manners next time or mind his manners now. It does say why, because he's troubling someone at this moment and still feels like he can't have good news. It's never going to be the same with you, but you have to move on and see that you're getting blamed. I told you, I'm never going to leave you, is how he wants to make you feel or make someone else feel around you. But he's also saying that you've got to move on past it. And he doesn't want you to feel like you've got winning in your mind, like you've won over him. He's going to challenge himself until he sees that he's got great news or even bad news. Because the thing is, he wants to be old and rich or even die with his riches, as he doesn't have a plan to get it anytime soon. This man will never see himself in a good way, and maybe he will always see himself in a bad way. He doesn't know how to park his mind on you, and right now he's pinching his nose to try and call a spirit and realize he's got to do things in his head that tell him to ask for God to send him other things that are going to sort out his brain. He doesn't want to know that he has good news, but he's going to hear himself tell himself that he's got to do things that are going to make him see a God. And then he will warn himself that his dark spirit has come out. He's a voodoo priest and very much a bad omen to priestess or people that could punish their minds trying to help themselves, or maybe even see that they've got great news. Laugh if he doesn't have bad news, but he warns himself this woman doesn't have good news. and will see herself with a bad mind game. This doesn't say that you will have good news to yourself, is what you said to your mind if this man is in your way or in your life all the time. You may see that he's never going to stay there with you all the time, or maybe even be around you all the time, or in your mental health all the time. Mind you, he may not be living with you or seeing you or even know you, but he's around you in your family or a friend or around your foes, people that know you. So he's doing arts and he may not like it, but he's always practicing voodoo. And he's got karma with this. Bad news is always going to enter his life, and brainwashing is going to take over his brain. He will never see you again in the same way that you see yourself. And never mind why he's targeted your son to say that he's got the problem instead of him. He's going to have bad news instead of your child. So never mind this man that's picking on you, because his karma's on its way and it's dealing with him today and now. Wow, Aries. Wow. Okay, anything else? Let's see. It does say that you've got great news overall, so you don't have to speak about bad news. Warning yourself to have better news ahead of yourself is going to be great right now to see that you've got good news. Truth is, you've got justice, and something is changing for you. No wonder you're stressed. People have been targeting you so much these days, and it's not easy to challenge you. You've got to sit and think about things and wonder if you have great news. Mind you, you love yourself so much, so you will see that baby making is not always going to be easy, but sometimes you wonder, can you have another child? Then you wonder, could you have another child with a man here that doesn't know if he's going to have good news? He doesn't need to have a good sight in his mind to say he's going to have good news with you, as he sees himself in a lot of problems with the law. Doesn't need to know that he's got good news anyway, but he does know that he's got bad news to give you right now and very good news to give himself. So he does see himself with a bad person, or a best friend type of energy with a person like you. It doesn't look very good right now for you and him, and it doesn't need to. It always says that you may try to push him away, as he's not going to be a person that you need, but he doesn't realize that he's got blame in his head. He's got problems where you never needed to speak to him again, and you realize this, but you're not warning yourself to run away. You're just saying, well, I know I can take a little time. Even if he's not going to be that great, I realize I'm not going to be that good to him anyway. And I realize I'm not going to stay around him if I feel like I'm not going to get myself in a way that I have good news. So I'm not going to stay with him. And I realize I don't want him. I just know that he's not my size, he's not my shape, he's not my color. He's not anything that's anything to me, or even the things that I want. I just don't know. I know I don't like him, but I just don't know if I could change in my mind and say, you know what, he's okay. It's just, I don't think he's going to be the type of person for you. I realize that because he's a frenemy to me. I'm the child's parent. I realize he is an always bad person in his head. Like, he's always got negative things to talk about. Like, he doesn't have any good news to talk about with you. Like, I told myself he's going to be something that I know I wouldn't want to go back to, and you would never want to be with him. So anytime you see yourself with a man like him, try to move on. He's not a great man to be with. And I realize that because his karma's coming with every woman that I said it will come with. He will get bad news. Then I wonder why I even think about the bad things that I said I would do to him, because he already has bad news. And I laugh because I made fun of him, but I also went to jail one time in my mind to see him there. And he also had bad news, giving himself bad news. And it was like, I want to be here. This is where I said this man is negative, and he's always going to have mental health problems. Now, I realize I've got time to see if my children are going to be bad to themselves like this. And I pray to God they never will. So I will never give myself a bad omen. And I will protect myself. And I'll see myself have good news. So warn yourself to have good news too. Because this man is never going to be the something that you thought was going to be brave enough to take care of you and look after you and have good karma. He's never going to have good news. He always knows this because he trials himself in a problem with his mind all the time to see if he has negative news. And he heard himself say, I'm going to give myself that. And then he wished it upon himself and gave it to himself. He had to go down. And he said he likes it. So why would you want to be with someone like that? Indeed. Absolutely. Why would you want to be with someone like someone like that? You wouldn't want to be with someone like that. So, yeah, with this message, someone's watching out for you to be careful of this person because they know that they've got kids with this person. Okay. All right. So it does say that this person doesn't have kids as well, but they know that they don't want to be around this man. He is evil. He's got bad omens and he doesn't need to be around them. He says he swears to God he never showed her anything bad, but he did. He's the one that started the problem and he doesn't speak the truth at times, so don't believe everything he's got to say. And you will see that sins are forgiven as you give yourself time to look at him and say, I'm sorry, I can't trust him. I realize I need to move past him, and then I leave him alone. And I won't want to speak about it again, but karma is coming with him. As today, I don't want to go out, and I realize I'm not in the mood to see him. I do not want to see you too, so I'm not warning you to stay away. But you do dress well, and you look very, really nice, is what he says. He says he doesn't want to hear that you don't, but you do look good and don't look good to his brain. At times he says, I see you are tarnishing my mind, challenging me to say something that I wouldn't want to say. And it's all for the best for him because it's going to be good information to see that his mindset is very good to you and to you alone at times, because his brain says, well, I want negative news. I don't want bad mind games to play myself, but I realize I'm giving myself that anyway. And it's very good you say that you want to protect your family and your friends, because he's never going to be the answer to your prayers. Your dreams are riddled by his being a madman, and he knows why. He should never have spoken to you in your mind to tell you you'd have good news. As he warns himself, he could never be your everything. And he knows why. He's got karma with you, and he's building problems in his head today to see that you've got cause for concern again, because he doesn't know how to give you good news. He lies and he picks on you, and he warns himself to stop picking on you because he needs to see himself in a bad way, and you wouldn't want to see that. So where are you going with this man? Never mind being dumped. He hasn't dumped you, but you may want to speak about dumping him or telling him that it's not going to work out in the next week or two, or else he's going to see himself, and he will see himself in the mindset of yours and play you all over again. And it doesn't say it's going to work because he knows he just doesn't like you in your mind the way you like yourself and the way you could possibly like him to be, and he's not that way. Okay. All right. He's just not that way. That you vision for, you know, your ideal person to be, you know, or even the way you see yourself. He's just not that
I
way.
see abundance coming in.
So
I see
it does say
money
you've got
coming
to pack
in.
your bags and leave,
I see
as
good
he feels
karma,
like he's not
good
going to stay
fortune
there with you
is
when
on
you
its
get
way to
evicted,
you.
or even a
I see
problem that
you've
could
had
come
to
up in
make
the next week
decisions,
for you.
and
It does say
ideas
someone is ready to
have
tell
come
you off and
about to
probably
help
want to
you
bring you down.
take off
And it does
in
say
some
that
type
you
of
can have
area in your
problems with
life.
this one,
I see
because he
new
would never
changes
help you
coming
through the
about.
problem,
For
and
some
he
of
would
you that
always
are
say he's
looking
going
forward
to
to
and still
blessed
never.
energy
But the truth
in
is, you are
regards
not
to
going to get evicted.
news that you'll
You
be
are not going
getting,
to lose your
things that
home
you
or
have
see it get foreclosured.
manifested,
You're
or
never going to
even
go
feeling
through a
like you're
problem
putting
like
in the
that. And
work
it
in
says we know
areas of
why,
your
because we
career,
saw
in
a
areas
problem
of
with
your
ourselves
studies,
in the
in
eviction
areas
notice
that
we
you
was
may
going to give you,
prosper,
and how
in
we could
financial
harm you
gains,
and
even
still
if
going
that's
to harm us.
purchasing a new
Now, we
home
can't
or
harm you
vehicle,
at this
or even
time.
a
And
person
maybe
coming
even later
along
on, we
and
see that
helping
we
you
could
to
harm you,
gain what it
but we
is you
have to be
need. I
mean to
also
our
see
mind,
somebody wants to
as you
gift
do
you
not
something
need
and
to
a
have
lover.
these problems. Now, I am just being negative, and these are the people that want to see you in a bad way, because they're very negative. Their evil spirit does not want to see you in a good way, and certainly doesn't want to sell you out to a demon in their mind. But it does say they have problems with you, saying that you're going to do it to them. Now, when they see that they need to stop because you've stopped, it's always that way. But you have to tell them that you're not speaking about it again. And that's all it is. And they will see that they're not coming to you, but they're going to pick on their mindset to see if you're going to pick on yours again. Because you have to deal with the problems that you said you have. And they may not answer the phone to you or even speak to you about the problem. Now, they will see that they've got trial and error dealing with you, as you do not know how to pick on your mindset in a bad way. You don't want to hear that you've got problems with them, so you have to solve your problems on your own. And may you have good karma with your mind, because you see, if they ever tell you anything, you're going to have to bring them down. And they're warning themselves not to tell you off, but they will tell you that they told you what to do. So even if you don't listen, you've got time after time options of remembering these men were never listening to me. I know that I'm being mad at the situation, but I'm warning myself I'm not listening to them with the mindset that they have of me being negative. because I'm not giving myself a bad reputation or a bad situation to stay in for them to laugh at me, make fun of me, or make me feel less than, because they're warring with the situation they've given people and calling it justice, or maybe even a policy, or things that they said they need to put in place to harm other people. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to stay in something that's going to make me feel like you could give me bad news. So I warn you, don't talk about it with me again. I know I'm not talking about it again, but I realize you're going to harm me. I never wanted to see you anyway. And I warn myself, don't talk to me because I don't like you. But I'm realizing that I have to leave this company and I've got to leave this building. And I'm realizing why. Every year we always lose people because they never have good news to give us. Now, do you understand? There is no one great here. Everyone is suffering. And people keep picking up the phone to call me and tell me I'm suffering too. So I'm going to leave it there, my lovelies, because this reading is coming to an end. But it looks like these people are suffering as well. So look out for the next reading, Aries. I will speak to you guys soon. Ciao for now. Bye.